Alright you two, when I come back you better not do anything embarrassing that will then make you the punching bags of the Sonic fanbase.
Okay.
I'll be back guys.
3 hours later.
Silver, Metal Sonic, I'm back. Oh no. Guys, what did I just say? Come on! Are my goats washed? If you're a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, which I assume you are if you're clicking this video, you definitely know who Metal Sonic and Silver the Hedgehog are. Metal Sonic being a ruthless robotic doppelganger of Sonic, who will stop at nothing to prove himself as the real Sonic. Silver the Hedgehog is from 200 years in the future, and came back to the past to help our present day cast from any devastating event that ruins the future. Whether that be Iblis, the Eggman Empire, or even the Metal Virus. Alright listen, I love these two guys, they really are some of the most interesting characters who do add a lot to the series. They're up there in terms of my favorite characters in the Sonic series as a whole. You know, most fans like myself want them to be added into more stuff, like the movies which, hey, Metal's in them now, he's going to be the main focus of movie 4, along with being added into more games. You know, Sonic X Shadow X Silver Generations in 10 years, trust. These guys have had a lot of cool moments throughout the series. Who was it that helped Sonic and Shadow defeat Iblis? Silver. Who was it that helped Sonic get rid of the Metal Virus completely? Silver. Who had a whole movie where all they did was Aura Farm? Metal Sonic. These guys are great! Or are they? You see, recently it's felt like these two have become frauds. Metal Sonic was defeated by a bike, for crying out loud. You know, go through Twitter and you'll see everyone clowning on these two characters. So, I figured it's time we make a video discussing if these two are really frauds, what this means, and if they can be redeemed. This video will be split into 2 sections, one focused on Metal Sonic, and the other Silver the Hedgehog. Let's dive into this. Metal Sonic first appeared in 1993 with the game Sonic CD, appearing alongside Amy Rose as well. You see, Metal Sonic is one of Sonic's most interesting rivals. He's like any other, a robotic copy of Sonic that matches him in almost every way. There hasn't been anything like that, ever in the Sonic series, besides Metal Sonic. Nope, nothing at all. Yes, kidding aside, I know there's a lot of robotic copies of Sonic, but Metal Sonic's different. He's very ruthless. He's a cold-hearted killing machine. The OVA is where I argue he's at his best. Speaking of his character, Metal Sonic also has this interesting case of believing he is the real Sonic. Part of his character is trying to be Sonic. Remember scenes like this in Sonic Heroes?
I am the real Sonic!
Generations?
You can't hope to defeat me! Accept your fate, you fake hedgehog! I am now the true Sonic! The true ultimate life form!
Or even this IDW moment? Now then, why is he washed? What has Metal Sonic done to make people put him in a washed tier of characters? Sadly, there is some valid reason for this. After Sonic Heroes, Metal Sonic hasn't done too much realistically. Let's think about it. Aside from side games, what games has he appeared in? Sonic 4? No one really liked that game too much. Sonic Forces? That wasn't even him, it was an illusion. What about Sonic Colors Ultimate? Well, he had more of an impact in the animated short on YouTube than for the actual game itself. He's in Sonic Mania, you know, but he's more of a boss, you know, he's not a main focus of the story, and after you defeat him, you don't really come back to Metal Sonic. Kinda blanking on mainline stuff. I mean, I know he's in Sonic Rivals, right? And he has an impact on the story, so I figure we can count that as an example of, you know, Metal Sonic actually having a role in something. But the Sonic Rival games are pretty old by this point. You know, I'm trying to think about more modern stuff in which Metal Sonic's been involved in. He's in Sonic Boom, but that's not mainline, so it doesn't really count much. He also makes an appearance in Generation for Sonic and Shadow, so, you know, you could give him that. But that's also past Metal Sonic, it's not present day Metal Sonic. Really, a lot of the more recent Metal Sonic moments have come from the IDW comics, because he's just used there more. And honestly, for the most part, I like him there. But then we have moments like him being defeated easily by Surge of all characters that kinda put a damper to his name. Metal Sonic is supposed to be one of the strongest characters, a challenge for even Sonic the Hedgehog himself, and to be defeated by Surge and Kit, 2 newbies? Yeah, I'll admit, that's bad on Metal's reputation. Destroy for Daddy is genuinely a disastrous line that has now been attached to Metal Sonic's character. Look at this panel. You cannot tell me this does any good for Metal Sonic's reputation. This is horrible. But I feel the most craziest example is Metal Sonic being defeated by a bike. Come on, Metal Sonic, get up, bro, please. Granted, it was Batman. You know, I feel like Batman has it in his contract to win every battle. But at least he could have been defeated in a cooler way. I don't know, a bike seems too crazy for a character like Metal. Okay, I know I gave all these examples of Metal Sonic being washed, so it makes sense as to why everyone thinks he is. But if you ask me, Metal Sonic really isn't washed. He's still goated, but with a few blunders. You know, in this same IDW comic run, Metal Sonic managed to take over Angel Island successfully. He only lost because so many characters had to work together to defeat him. If all these guys didn't work together, Metal Sonic would have won easily. Sonic alone would not have defeated him, no chance. Still going back to IDW, just look at the Metal Virus saga. Metal Sonic is the same guy who allowed Sonic and Silver to reach that final Chaos Emerald. Without his help, the chances of those two making it to the final Emerald would have been very low. He defeated Shadow a little too easily that one time. If you ask me, that might make IDW Shadow a washed character, but that's a conversation for another time. Got him doing the Arthur hand pose, look at this. One of my favorite moments in IDW history is in the 2020 annual Metal Sonic short story. No words are said for the most part, and it's incredibly short, but it helps give major insight into Metal Sonic's beliefs. The idea that he wants to become Sonic, but almost comes to a realization that he never will be. It's beautiful and definitely up there as a great moment in the whole Sonic IDW comic run. Metal Sonic just has this issue where it feels like his power is underestimated sometimes, especially with the Batman and Surge defeat. Look, I'll let the Batman one pass, because I get it. You need a quick way of showing him being defeated so Batman can get the Chaos Emerald. It's not like each character gets too much time focused on them in this crossover. Each interaction moves by pretty quick, so it's fine. The Surge one though, Okay, let me defend the Surge and Kit fight a little bit, right? Because I don't think it's entirely a bad scene. The whole point of that fight was really to show that once Surge and Kit work together, they can defeat any threat in their way. And it just so happened that Metal Sonic was the threat. But I don't know, if you have a character like Metal Sonic used for a moment like this, I feel like it kind of devalues Metal Sonic, right? You have these two characters who aren't even as powerful as like characters like Sonic or Shadow, yet they were able to defeat Metal Sonic pretty easily. But then, you know, we have scenes where Metal Sonic easily takes down Sonic and Shadow. So I feel like it's just a moment that kind of takes respect off of Metal Sonic's name, having him defeated this easily. You know, if you ask me, they should have used another character for Surge and Kit to defeat, not Metal Sonic, who's supposed to be a powerful threat. He's supposed to be a threat, not someone who can be defeated this easily. Metal Sonic isn't washed, but if he keeps getting defeated that easily, I can't lie, I'll have to put him up there as a washed character, but he can be saved. Movie 4 is definitely going to make Sega want to put a more focus on Metal Sonic and Amy, like Movie 3 did for Shadow. That's definitely a great time to put respect on Metal Sonic, build him up again as a powerful threat against Sonic, show that he's not easily defeated, but someone that Sonic has to struggle against. Who knows, maybe a game will come out around Movie 4 that could have Metal Sonic as a main villain. That would be cool to see. Maybe make him a powerful threat and actually have him in a mainline game after so long. Okay. Before I talk about everyone's favorite futuristic hedgehog, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. With your help, yes, you, my dear viewer, we can hit 3,000 subscribers. Road to 3,000, yes sir. Where else are you gonna get cool Sonic videos? Alright, let's continue. Silver the Hedgehog is a very interesting character. I remember the times everyone hated him for no good reason other than he appeared in Sonic 06. I remember Silver being a very hated on character for that reason alone. Yet, as time passed, there's definitely been a change. For the better. I mean, a lot of people love Silver nowadays, which is great because I'm one of those people who love Silver as well.
Where did all these Silver fans come from?
Oh, who doesn't love Silver? The guy's got a good heart, even if he can be a little over the top. His determination to save the future is something I can respect.
He's an interesting character in so many ways, from a cool design, to the cool idea of him being from the future, to being a character that represents so much. Think about it this way, if Sonic represents the present, Shadow the past, then Silver's the representation of the future. There's just a lot of cool ideas with Silver that Sega could really expand on. But that's the issue. They could expand on these ideas, but they never do. What has Silver appeared in? aside from a handful of main games and the comics. 06, that was his game, so he had a lot of focus. The Rivals games? Yeah, technically that's canonically the first time we meet Silver, because, you know, Sonic 06 was erased from the timeline. But like I mentioned in the Metal Sonic section, the Rivals games are pretty old at this point. What about Generations or Forces? He doesn't do too much there. Silver really doesn't have many game appearances when you look at it. And sure, we have characters like Cream, who also don't have many game appearances either, right? But at least she had a whole show in which she was one of the main characters, you know, Sonic X. Silver doesn't even have that. He hasn't appeared in any Sonic show, he hasn't appeared on any animated content on YouTube for Sonic, not even the Team Sonic Racing one. And so far he's not in the movies. Silver low-key might be in a tier below Washed. He might be a fraud. Okay, let's back it up. Silver appears a lot in the IDW comics if you read those at least, so we aren't fully deprived of Silver content at the very least. In these comics, Silver is definitely written to be more dorky and silly, and depending on who you ask, some love it, some hate it. Me personally, I like it, but I definitely feel like there should be a balance that has to be made. I don't necessarily think Silver should be a fully dorky character, but I don't think he should be a fully serious and stoic one too. Hey, we got Shadow for that if you're in need for a serious hedgehog. Silver's future isn't in ruins by Iblis anymore. There isn't much of a reason for Silver to be as serious as he was in 06, but by no means do I think that should be an excuse for him to let his guard down. If you ask me, the perfect way to write Silver is striking a balance in which he's both serious and dorky. Maybe in calm moments his more dorky side appears, right? When the situation is Silver hanging with his friends or planning a garden. But when an adventure is going on, Silver turns on a bit more of a serious side. We get a bit of Sonic 06 Silver back in moments like that. Silver's guard is up, and he'll do anything he can to save the day. Dorky Silver is sometimes pushed to a bit of an extreme if you ask me, like in Team Sonic Racing, where he doesn't even know what a joke was.
Like you're about to get your car fed to you by a blue hedgehog? No, never.
I'm not hungry, but thanks.
Wow, dude, you take all the fun out of trash talking. I'm so gonna own you, Silver.
Okay.
No, you're supposed to say in your dreams, Sonic.
In your dreams, Sonic.
Too late, the moment's passed.
But I think in issues like 76, that was a perfect Silver right there. He was silly when the moment called for it, but also turned back the seriousness when it was needed. Look, he still sometimes has fraud moments. Like the next time we see Silver after issue 76, he gets easily hurt by Mimic, and was apparently having trouble being precise with his telekinesis, which was clearly a move made to just downplay Silver. He's precise with his telekinesis, he's been precise before, I don't see why this was an issue now. Silver gets downplayed too much sometimes, which is why everyone calls him a fraud. You know, being on all fours over an Eggman pawn, that's devious work, that's horrendous. But he does have his moments that show the writers do get Silver, like again issue 76, or when he worked with Sonic to get rid of the metal virus. Silver just doesn't need to be downplayed as much, which I feel is an issue that just follows him too much. Now, of course, this doesn't mean I need him to be some ultra perfect strong character, but come on, him not being able to fully control his power, or getting headbutted by Mimic, don't do my go dirty. This is the same guy who helped defeat Solaris, who rivals both Sonic and Shadow. He shouldn't be struggling this much against a guy like Mimic, if you ask me. Whenever Silver appears in the movies, you know Sega will put a focus on him. Hopeful. Year of Silver. He's supposed to represent hope. Bring that back about Silver. None of this, I'm also a realist. Silver is a representation of hope, that no matter how dark a situation gets, there's always that hope and strive to make things better. Yes, Silver can be a dork, but he's ready to protect everyone when it's needed to happen. Silver the Hedgehog is one of my favorite Sonic characters. He's honestly up there. So I really hope that as time continues, we get to see more of Silver, and possibly put more respect on Silver's name. Okay guys, I want to apologize. I was too harsh on you two. Maybe you guys aren't washed, but I'm gonna need you guys to do better, okay? Silver, no more getting headbutted. Metal Sonic, you stay away from bikes. Maybe you guys aren't washed, you guys just need to be redeemed. I trust it'll happen. Okay guys, thank you for watching everyone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to read about what everyone thinks. Subscribe!